Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political. Please join Ron Comedy Tour June 20th through the 20th. Get your tickets now. It's right around the corner. GrahamElwood.com has got all the ticket info for you. This article was submitted by Patreon supporter CraftyGeek. This is an article from Fountain Hopper, which is an independent journalistic organization on the Stanford University campus. They have followed a lot of stuff. In fact, they were the horribly continuing case of Brock Turner. And this instance, CraftyGeek has sent us a article about a federal lawsuit where Stanford is accused of systematic mistreatment of students with mental health troubles. Students allegedly coerced into giving administration medical information, forced to apologize for being disruptive, and students routinely evicted from dorms after checking into therapy, charged hundreds for eviction fees. And 4 resident deans were named in the lawsuit. Wow, this is amazing. I've never heard of this organization, Fountain Hopper, but good for them for existing on a big college campus, which, as I've done videos in the past, big colleges get money from corporations. They have foundations that are run by corporations. They have CIA people, high up. And it's good that that they're trying to do some real journalism and shows how the corruption, and also what this article goes into is how how the mentally ill are treated in this country. If they're treated on this campus, I mean, this is Stanford University. This is the Harvard of the West. This is a college that pretty progressive, pretty open-minded, and then this is how people are being treated, which shows you how far we have to go as a country in terms of addressing mental illness. So let me go into this. The federal class action lawsuit was created by a group of current and former Stanford students who filed the lawsuit. And a pattern of discriminatory, harmful, and possibly illegal behavior by several Stanford administrators, including current resident deans or RDs. The Stanford University has 21 days to respond. So here's what happened in this 34-page complaint. Plaintiffs allege that Stanford students hospitalized for suicidal behavior are routinely threatened and lied to by the resident deans. That's how we treat suicidal behavior? They're evicted from on-campus housing while participating in off-campus treatment program, coerced into agreeing to voluntarily leaves of absence, forced to apologize for non-existent disruptive behavior. So you're suffering from whatever type of mental illness. It's so severe you're suicidal and that's disruptive, and you're punished for that disruption. Do cancer patients, is there chemo disrupting the student body? Should they be evicted? Student with disabilities that's in a wheelchair? Are they disrupting the student body? Should we ask them to leave? The diabetic students, should they leave the students on walkers? They should be asked to leave. Wow. Stanford, they manipulated these students into giving administrators access to highly sensitive medical information. Stanford ignored numerous complaints about these issues by students, parents, and licensed doctors. The plaintiffs, who include several individuals as well as the Mental Health and Wellness Coalition, an association of over 20 Stanford student groups, decided to take the university to court and in what will certainly be closely watched discrimination lawsuit. You know how this kind of stuff happens? It's because an organization or a business has some power, and they abuse that power, and they get away with it. And they think, who's going to challenge us? Who's going to challenge us? You ever want to work here again? That's always the unwritten law, right? If you work for some business or some company, they're like, you ever want to work here again? That's always the thing. So we're gonna dictate the rules. We're gonna dictate the law. Even though with the law is different, we're gonna try to go above the law and do it our way. And you're just gonna have to deal with it. That's what they're doing. According to the complaint, Stanford students hospitalized for suicidal ideation or behavior are not informed of their rights guaranteed under the Americans with Disabilities Act and are routinely subjected to demeaning and insensitive treatment by Stanford employees. God, we have lost our soul as a country. A college kid's feeling suicidal and they're treated poorly? We don't have compassion for that kid? Nice. Here's an example. On February 23rd, while Jacob was still in his hospital, John Giammalva, resident dean, visited Jacob and told him what he had caused his dorm mates psychological harm and that they were talking about him. The dean said that Jacob had been a disruption to the community and it was unfair for Jacob to impose a burden on other students and staff. He referred the kid to the residence agreement, made Jacob feel like he violated the rules, and threatened Jacob with legal action and a ban from his dormitory. Boy, yeah, definitely if someone's suffering from mental illness or depression or anxiety, make them feel guilty, make them feel bad, blame everything on them. That's good. That's good long-term help. That's great. That's great. This is like when Trump wanted to give the soldiers with PTSD guns, give them easier access to guns. Plaintiffs had their housing privileges suddenly revoked by administrators after being released from the hospital. Well, that's not going to trigger more mental health issues if you don't know where you're going to live. That's not stressful on someone that doesn't suffer from mental illness. Good call, Stanford. This one student was banned from all Stanford dorms and dining halls. And the reasons they cited in a letter were, quote, inability to care for his personal safety. This is unbelievable. Then Stanford charges its students hundreds of dollars in various administrative fees and costs related to their involuntary. So they kick you out and then you're charged fees for leaving your dorm and all this other business that they kicked you out of. Wow, this is unbelievable. Yeah, the Stanford routinely disregards psychiatrists' recommendations. And oh God, this type of arrogance. Well, guess what, Stanford? Get your checkbook ready. Any of you alumni, you should have to pay a lot of money for this. And if any of these resident deans or any of the staff committed a crime, they should go to jail. The link to this article is in the show notes below. Within this article is a link to the full 34-page complaint if you want to read that. It's something that, like, I don't understand how this is the approach from an institutional level. There's an institute for higher learning, and this is how we're treating mental illness. Oh boy, your suicide attempt made your fellow students, it made it difficult for them. Yeah, suicide is hard for anybody to deal with. I've known people that have killed themselves. It's hard. You don't chastise the person that tried to commit suicide. Don't want to offer them counseling. Don't want to offer the students whose friend had the suicide attempt. Nobody gets counseling. Just get on the street. God damn, this country's lost its soul. So thank you, CraftyGeek, for submitting this article, and thank you, all of you. Please go to the Patreon page to support the show. Also, you can get a Make Gotham Great Again shirt, which is in the show notes below. Hope to see you on the road, June 20 through the 24th for the Progressive Comedy Tour. Let's make Gotham great again.